Okay, the name of the game is Battleship. Battleship is kind of based off of that old time 70s, 80s, and I think it's still around actually, the Battleship game where basically there was a grid and you had your ships and someone else guessed and tried to sink your ships, and meanwhile you were guessing the location of their ships and you were trying to sink theirs. Well, this is actually Battleship for math, and this version kind of works like this. I'm going to pick three numbers between 0 and 10. If you look here on the sheet, real tiny, I don't know if you can see it too well. Of course, I got my ship right here, but I got a 0 down here, and I got a 10 over here. So the smallest number I'm going to be able to do is a 0, and the biggest number is a 10. And there's three boxes here, so I'm going to pick three numbers. They can be any three numbers that I want, but when I write them in, they have to be in order from the smallest one over here, then the middle one here, and the big one. So the numbers I'm going to pick are, say, 5, 2, and 8. Now, we know that 5, 2, and 8, I have to put those in order. So the smallest number of 5, 2, and 8 is 2. So I'm going to write 2 right here. The largest number of 2, 5, and 8 is 8. So I'm going to put my 8 right here. And then the middle number, sorry about that. The middle number of 2, 5, and 8 is 5. So let's put that 5 right there. So those are going to be my three numbers, 2, 5, and 8. Now, the way it's going to work is when my opponent comes into the room, that would be my youngster, she's going to come in and she's going to guess and see what she thinks my three numbers are. So let's play. Okay, I'm going to drag this so we can't see my ship. So, of course, now this young lady, she doesn't know what my three numbers are. So she starts off and she says, I say, all right, let's guess. And she says, I would like to guess a 4. Now, I'm either going to say hit or miss. And since 4 was not one of my numbers, I'm going to have a lot of fun saying, ha ha, miss. So she's going to cross out the 4 down here. Oh, let me go get my pen back. There we go. She's going to cross out that 4 down there so she knows. Well, I'm not going to call 4 again because I know the answer. I know it's not 4. Let me get that back on there. 4 is gone. Okay, so I say, now, guess again. And she says, oh, well, I guess 2. And I say, oh, hit. Now, 2 is a hit. Is it my smallest, my biggest, or my middle? I know it's my smallest number. It's a 2. So let's get rid of the 2. What I would say to the young lady is this. Are there any other numbers you can cross out right now? Because if 2 is my smallest number, is there any numbers that are smaller than 2 that can be eliminated? And hopefully she'll say, well, 1 is smaller. So I do that. So I say, okay, young lady, take another guess. And she says, 10. And I say, ha ha, miss. So she crosses out the 10 so she won't call 10 again. I say, give it another shot. She says, 8. Oh, hit. Very good. So I'm going to put 8 here. And I say to her, let's get rid of that 8. What do you know about 8 since I wrote it in that box? And she'll say, it's the biggest number. And I say, well, are there any other numbers that you know it can't possibly be since we know that 8 is the biggest number? And hopefully she'll say, well, I can get rid of the 9 too. I'm not going to guess 9 because that would be too big. So now she's going to guess, and she knows that the number's got to be bigger than 2, smaller than 8. So she looks down there and she says, 5. And I say, ah, hit. You sank my battleship. Now, if I want it to be nice, what I can do is come over here and show... Oh, don't do that. Get that back on there. What I can do... Let's go. What I can do is I can show her that I'm honest. There's my 2, 5, and 8. And she got it. Now, get that back on there. Come on, baby. I'll restore writing from here. Okay, there's my numbers, right? So what I want to do now, why is that? I got to move that over. see how many guesses she took. Sadly, I moved them over, but she took her 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guesses altogether, which is not really that bad. So that's the idea of the first time you're going to play Battleship. One player picks 3 numbers. They put them in order, the smallest, the biggest, and the one in the middle. They don't tell the other player. When the other player comes in, they start guessing. And by process of elimination, they should be able to figure out the 3 numbers. And the quicker they can do that, the better. All right, that's going to be our very first attempt.